Welcome to part 4 on generalizing love, on joy. Now, joy, as we've mentioned, is the core or origin of love, metaphysical, universal love. It is the gateway for children to access love in their play. And I'd like to read a little excerpt that I put together on this very topic before I detail some personal experiences. Now, as we read here, joy is the origin or core of love, internally splitting into assiduousness and merriness. Assiduousness is the careful effort of passion. Passion itself internally splits into the sub-attributes of seriousness, studiousness, and fastidiousness or meticulousness, each of these being linked with the emotional valence or value of entrancement. Entrancement means you are entranced in some activity. You are serious, studious, and fastidious about it, aka you are passionate. Merriness is the carefree excitement of fun. Fun internally splits into the sub-attributes of liveliness, lightheartedness or calmness, and humorousness, giddiness, each of these being linked with the emotional valence of enchantment. So where assiduousness corresponds to entrancement, merriness or fun corresponds to enchantment. Now, of course, we're using relatively assonant terms so that these can resonate. Okay, you can use whatever terms you like, as long as you're understanding that that joy is itself an internal spectrum between being hard at work, being careful and effortful, and being hard at play or being carefree, excited, and enchanted. Children at play may display either or both an entranced passion or an enchanted merriness. Games such as tag, hide and seek, to adults seem intrinsically flat, rewardless, or purposeless, but which to children are intrinsically self-purposeful. Since adults have a more advanced or ensconced experience of the future, their purpose is projective. Since children have a more advanced and ensconced experience of the present or presence as incessance, their purpose is ambient or omnipresent. Give me 1 second here. This is why, when many, but not most, adults use the word passion to describe their work, as in a job, not an athlete or an actor or some artist, the passion is itself projective of a future goal whose emotional valence may, to repeat, may range from pride, greed, or the insecure need for recognition. Get my little dog licking her wound. All of which express subtle negative or defective tendencies. Absent a sharp distinction between play and work, or fun and passion, children at play are children at work. So give me 1 brief second so I can introduce my little dog. She was licking her little wound, so I had to pause her. Now, when I was a child, as I mentioned in the previous videos, I had an extremely loving, near and extended family. I had a beautiful yard. I grew up amid the beauty of nature. I had no want for basic needs, although I was not living a luxurious lifestyle by any means. And joy was more or less ambient or incessant, omnipresent. I found joy or fun in the most ordinary activities. My sister and I had this term, activities, for things that had no intrinsic future purpose. We weren't building towards anything, but which gave us perfect peace and pleasure in the moment. And these were, for example, digging holes and playing with the mud, building little structures with the mud like walls or rooms or little balls, sticking our hands and feet in the mud. Especially we did this in the morning. We had another activity called traps. We would create traps, dig a hole, and then layer the top of the hole with sticks, put barks on the sticks, then put mud on the bark, and then layer the top of the mud with more looser, drier dirt or grass, in the hopes that my dad would step on the trap. So there was some mischievousness involved in that, but we loved just the sheer experience of the construction of the trap or the hole or the mud. We also had something called Indian camp, where we would create a circle of sticks and we would link the sticks many times, and we would create a teepee out of sticks and bark in the middle, and we would simply sit in the structure and experience the closure of our little camp. As many other kids, we would build houses or forts of blankets, and there was no intrinsic purpose to it, in the sense that we would go inside and experience the light, the ambience, the different rooms, the different reflections of the light on the blankets. Dark rooms, large rooms, tight rooms, light rooms. And we had this term for things that we really liked, which is comfiness. So comfy was synonymous with extremely beautiful or perfect. Something that is comfy did not mean that we were just comfortable in it in terms of, oh, this pillow is comfy, but rather this environment, this ambience is comfy. This ambience is merry, joyous, perfect. And this funny thing is, while you're building something as a kid, you're entranced, but once you've built it, you're enchanted. So this biconditional connection between assiduousness and merriness is exhibited in the work and play, or rather the work and play, the careful effort and the carefree enchantment of experiencing a house that you built out of blankets, or a trap, or a little camp. We also had another one called chairs. We would stack pillows on as high as we could, and we'd try to get to the highest chair, the comfiest chair, and we'd sit on the chair, and of course they would always, sort of bottom out, and the bottom of the pillows would fall, and we would, sort of fall out of the chair. But again, that was the fun of it. So we called these activities, there are a few more. And my sister would always ask me, are we ever gonna stop doing activities? You're gonna forget one day about activities. And I was like, I'm never gonna forget, come on. This is pure fun. This is the definition of fun, the self-definition of fun. Questioning fun in the moment is a paradox, right? It only really happens when somebody else shows up and says, why are you doing this? What's this game all about? Who cares, right? But since we both agreed that it was fun, there need not be any external definition or doubt or questioning. Digging a hole and pouring water into it and then pouring dirt and creating little, mud, little segments of mud was fun without there having to be any future goal or purpose. It was self-purposeful. So this is the central aspect of joy. It defines its own purpose, and the purpose need not be future driven. It need not be projected. Whereas passion can be projective in the sense that you're building a blanket house to dwell in it, to experience its interior. But if that passion, if that future goal is non-intrinsic, if it's extrinsic, if it's fueled by some negative or defective tendency such as greed, pride, or the need for recognition, or the need for stimulation, then it can be corrupted into a form of, well, let's just say it can be catalyzed. And the catalyst is one which is trying to teach you the intrinsic value or valence of joy. Being joyous at work can mean that you're assiduous, serious, studious, fastidious, meticulous, but that means that you're enjoying the incessant experience of that work, therefore loosening or even eliminating the distinction between work and play. Of course, if you regard work as important, let's say you're a doctor, right? And you think of your work as important because somebody could die, you need to heal this person needs to feel better, then there is a goal, but that goal is once again not fueled by negative or defective tendencies, it is fueled by another vortical virtue of the heart, this being mainly appreciation and compassion. Appreciation being the gratitude for being able to be a healer, and the appreciation or admiration of the patient's ability to withstand the fear or pain of the ailment, and compassion for the sheer pain that they're feeling even when you cannot eliminate or alleviate it. So being a doctor, however, you can be corrupted into thinking, well, I'm more intelligent than all the other people in this hospital. I'm more intelligent and learned than the nurses, or the physician assistants, or the secretaries, or the janitorial staff. I have a more important job, and if I don't show up, none of them could do what I do. That can creep in. And it does, especially if you are fueled by the need for recognition, or if you have certain lingering, festering insecurities about your abilities since childhood. Maybe you were insulted as a child. You're not very intelligent. Look at you. You're not as smart as that kid, and you never will be. Intelligence is genetic, and you just can't get there. You don't have it. Right? This may create a defective tendency towards prestige and pride, both of which are mirages. You think you want pride or prestige, but it's a goal when you reach, you either become even more insatiable, or you're ultimately dissatisfied and unfulfilled. So the key here is to realize that hard work and intense play are two sides of the same coin. They are two aspects of the same spectrum of joy or fun, it being the core of love. Now, there is always joy, since joy is the origin or core, it is always present in any other vortical virtue. It's present in understanding, because once you understand something in the sense that you're certain about it, I understand that existence exists and I'm certain about it, there is a joy in the peace that you feel. When you are appreciating something, when you're admiring something, you are feeling joy at the beauty of that being. When you are humble, you are feeling joy at the equality between you and the other being. When you're being merciful, you feel joy that you are able to discern the restraint required, or the judiciousness required. When you are compassionate, you are joyful at the fact that you and the other person are one. And any pain that they experience is pain that you are able to feel gentleness towards, and recognize that all pain is temporary, even if indefinite. So I had a unique opportunity as a child to experience high doses of daily joy in school, at home, wherever. And this joy was sealed by the understanding that existence exists, and therefore all is one. Everything is in existence. Everything is a coloring of existence. And so even if things go wrong, the wrong is a lesson that does not last forever. So it is both purposeful and temporary. Everything else, the absence of negativity, the absence of illness, injury, etc., argumentation is peaceful and cause for merriness. Boredom cannot exist within this spectrum of joy. Boredom, indifference, or apathy are caught in the sinkhole of blockage, where you're not allowing for the peace of joy to express itself in a calm moment. So I could give more examples. Let's see if I have at least one more. Every day when I woke up, one of the first thoughts in my mind was, the sun is shining. Even if it's cloudy. Today is a cloudy day, but the sun is still shining and radiating its heat and light, all of the electromagnetic waves, onto everyone on Earth. Even if you ignore the sun is still supporting you. And this gave me true peace, knowing that I was being taken care of and nurtured by a celestial being that was so much more powerful than me. And then I realized that the sun is nurturing all of nature, and all of the plants and animals that I love were highly responsive and thankful to the sun. And I was able to find joy in seeing a tree, not labeling the tree as tree, seeing the being, the raw, visceral being of a tree, or grass, an open field, a hill. And then, of course, even human-made creations like roads, light posts, etc., houses. I thought of all of these not as objects, but as beings, which meant that they had their own form of life. Not biological life, but a physical life. And this has never left me. It's only been progressively enhanced. Every time I put on my shoes, I'm like, all right, let's do this. The shoes are supporting me throughout. I walk on the streets, and I never forget that the shoes are protecting my feet. Or if it's cold, I thank the clothes. Now that our little friend is wanting to go on her walk, I will close the video and say farewell until part 5. So thank you so much for watching.